I'm Shada Roy Saha. I'm a product manager for MyGeotab Core UX. And so for those of you who have already taken a peek of what's in beta, I'm thrilled to pull back the curtains of our reimagined trips history that will become the new standard in the next month or two. We know that you're constantly monitoring your fleet and trying to catch issues before they become big problems. So what if I told you that now, with just a few clicks, you could instantly pinpoint critical events, see exactly what happened with video footage, and get all the context you need without ever having to leave trips history? This update is designed to give you a powerful new set of tools. So let me jump in and show you how it works. So here it is, the new trips history. And as you can see here, we're going to be loading up the 5 most recent trips that have occurred for you when you land. You could expand and collapse these trip cards to view all the details of the trip, view any exceptions that occurred, and you could even view any zones where these trips took place as well. You could show them all on the map or clear the map if you don't want to see any trip at all. Now imagine if you want to investigate speeding events. Instead of digging through reports, you can now filter your trips directly by rules, as you can see here. So here I've selected speeding from the rule filter, and I'll look back to the past week. These are all the trips where speeding events took place. And I can see how often using the exceptions pill. And you can see that this one particular driver was speeding quite a bit. Now, let's say I want to narrow this investigation to Betty White, who I know is a known offender for speeding. And, I go back to last week and sure enough, here are all of Betty White's speeding events. She's at it again. She just doesn't learn. You'll notice right away that next to, I could drill into the speeding exceptions. And for this particular speeding event that occurred, you'll notice there's a video icon. And this means that we have some video footage tied directly to the event. I could drill down into the details and view all the metadata about this exception that occurred, including its location, the speed in which Betty was driving against the posted speed limit, and the time in which it occurs. But the game changer is when I hit play. So as you can see here, the video, the data chart, and the vehicle's movement on the map are all perfectly in sync. So this gives you crucial context into how this event played out. And understanding what happened during a trip is critical for safety, driver coaching, incident review. And we've integrated this video footage directly into trips to eliminate the need to switch between separate parts of the system. Now, beyond just viewing, as you can see here, you could also request specific video recordings directly from the map or the trip's history card, giving you proactive control over capturing important moments that might not have been triggered, may not have triggered a video to be saved automatically. So I think you can see how this update is invaluable to help you get clear answers fast. It's more than just data. It's about collecting irrefutable visual evidence. So why did we build this? This is our current trips history here. And there are many issues that were expressed about our current trips history. So we heard you, and I just want to say that this is not just a superficial design update. The goal of this release was to give you more data at your fingertips through a truly intuitive interface. Your feedback was clear. You needed better. Issues like unclear, unintuitive, and missing data points, as well as actions that were hard to find or undiscoverable, were major themes. So let's take a look at the side-by-side. Previously, when you navigated to trips history, you were met with an empty state, and you had to fiddle around with filters and drop-downs using that dreaded options drop-down just to see any historical trips. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we're immediately serving up your 5 most recent trips by default. It's instant context, improving first impressions and reducing friction. And it's the little things. do you remember how frustrating it was when you'd search for an asset or a driver and you'd select it, but nowhere on the top did it show you what you had actually filtered your trips by? In this new trips history, that is clearly displayed at the top. We've integrated numerous common sense UX standards like this throughout the interface. So this just wasn't about making it look pretty. It was about fixing those daily frustrations and making your workflows genuinely smoother. Our commitment to give you more data and more control runs deep through this update. So what you can see here is that there's a new filters drawer that is loaded up on the right hand side. So we loaded that up with additional filtering options like I showed earlier, the rules, groups, assets, drivers, so you can slice and dice your trips however you need to. And once applied through this filters drawer, you can edit these selections at the top toolbar to give you results that update dynamically. So no more need to hit an apply button. So this dramatically speeds up your analysis. Another thing I want to mention is that you could also view your trips by either asset or driver, whatever it makes sense to you. And this gives you a little bit more control over the data that you're viewing. The previous trips history could be overwhelming with data. We heard that from many of our customers. So we've redesigned the trip card to present key pieces of information in a more intuitive and digestible format with these summary cards that now display more aggregated data like total idling, stop time, driving time, for example. And for those long trips spanning multiple days, the data is clearly shown within each segment, resolving the issue of the fact that the start and end times of a trip were not very clear previously. We're also showing zones in both the summary card as well as the individual trip segments for better context. And then addresses are now simplified. So you just get the street name and the city for quicker reading and skimming through these trips. We've also made key actions easier to find and more discoverable. So when you need to assign that driver a trip, you could easily do so using the context menu on the trip segment. You'll also notice a little icon right next to the one that is selected right now that expands that card. That is giving you the ability to replay that trip. So if you're unsure in terms of the direction that the vehicle went or whatnot, you'll be able to replay that trip right here and view the route that vehicle took. So generally, this release is a crucial step in our strategic evolution of MyGeotab, enhancing our core platform and laying the groundwork for some exciting future capabilities. Our teams are continuously improving this beta feature to make sure that it meets the demands of your day-to-day needs. For example, there are some known issues that we're in the process of resolving. For example, when you select a trip, we want to ensure that the numbers on the map correspond to those trip segments, and that is crystal clear. Another issue that you've told us about is that by default, we present the most recent trips, but when you expand those cards, with the most recent card at the top, you have to scroll back up to the card at the top of it to continue viewing the sequence of events that occurred. It's a little bit unintuitive. And so we fixed this by adding a descending sorting order option, which we are hoping to apply by default moving forward. Last but not least, we're working on bringing back a more robust search, along with comma delimited search capabilities using the asset dropdown. We're working collaboratively with multiple teams across our organization. We have a team that's actively improving features like area activity. That is a big part of this release, and it gives you the power to search for a specific address or zone and instantly see all the trips that occurred within it. So imagine effortlessly identifying all the activity that occurred around a particular job site or a customer location or a restricted zone. That's the kind of intelligence that we're building for you. Furthermore, we're developing trips history to assets equipped with asset trackers, like our Go Anywhere, for example. So that experience will be more refined. So I encourage all of our users here and across MyGeotab to explore these new features today. And your feedback definitely continues to be incredibly valuable as we evolve this and the rest of our platform. So please don't hesitate to use the mechanisms available in MyGeotab to send that feedback, or you can use the booking link that our moderator will be putting in the chat here. Feel free to book some time with me to provide me with your feedback over a call. So thank you so much for listening today, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Shada, for all that information and all of your hard work on improving this much used feature of MyGeotab. So we did have a few questions here. It was really cool what you showed about being able to see the video right there in the trip's history. We had a couple questions on what kind of camera providers this works with. Does it work with, like Fleet Cam Analytics, or what are the limitations there?
That is a great question. We do have a comprehensive list of camera providers that this supports, and perhaps what I can do is gather that list and share it with the audience after this session.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And then we had another question from Haley about if it can save your filters. Like if you always want to see speeding, could you save that rule selection in there so you can always just come back to it?
That is a very good question. At this point in time, you'll have to select that filter anytime you want to perform an ad hoc investigation. However, we are exploring the option of allowing you to create save views across the system or identify filters that you want to have applied globally across the system. So this is something that we are working towards in the future. Great feedback.
Yeah, thanks. All right. And Sarah was asking, is there any way that you could just share a trip that you're viewing? Like, could you share the URL with the manager and it would populate that same, map view on their screen?
Yes, absolutely. As you kind of refine your filters, you find exactly, the event, for example, that you need to, you could either, take a screenshot of it, or you can copy and paste that URL and share it widely.
Awesome. All right. And I'll just get one more question here. All right. So Liz was asking, when is this going to, be available in databases across the world?
Great question. So it is available as a beta feature. So if in MyGeotab you hit your name on the far right-hand side, you'll go into options, and there you'll see a tab for beta features. You'll find trips history as an option to toggle on or off for that matter. But it will actually become the new standard in MyGeotab in about a month's time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that timeline, and thanks for answering all those questions. We did have a lot more questions. We will follow up with these after the event. But thanks for your time, Shada, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now for our next session, we're going to have the VP for Geotab Vitality, Steve, come on and talk to us about Vitality. Hey, Steve. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Aishi.
Thanks for being here.
Amazing. And Shada, the new screens look great. So looking forward to that. Well, thank you everyone for the time today and for joining us. I'm really excited to be here with you to talk about Geotab Vitality. This is the new joint venture that was announced earlier this year at Geotab Connect. And since then, we've been really hard at work to bring it to market. We're now live in Canada, the US, and Europe with plans to expand to Australia and likely Mexico before the end of the year, and rapidly to the rest of the markets that Geotab operates in. So excited to work with you. Let me jump in. I like to start by talking about how did we get here to a point where Geotab did a joint venture, because that's not typical for Geotab. But about 2 years ago, we were hearing more and more from customers and partners that collisions were on the rise, and that the cost and the impact of collisions was increasing and putting burden on customers. So Geotab wanted to investigate that and really understand why this was happening, and with all the solutions that have been coming to market, why the problem continued to go in the wrong direction. So as we looked at the marketplace, what we found is that most of really our whole industry looks at driver safety and collision risk from the top down. We often focus in on who are the highest risk drivers in a fleet. They're the problem. We got to fix them, and we ignore the rest. We coach them, which means we beat them up and we tell them that they did a bad job, and this is creates friction between fleet manager and drivers, and sometimes we make them watch videos and say, hey, Steve, you've been speeding way too much. It's not safe. Could you watch this video that will help you be a better driver? And drivers hate it, and it does solve the problem for a short period of time, right? We've told the driver that you've done something wrong, and so while it's top of mind, we do see improvement in their performance. But pretty quickly, people tend to go back to their old habits. And so as we continue to dig into that, what we learned is that collision risk is really a human and behavioral challenge. It's not the vehicle that's having an issue and causing a collision. In most cases, it's the person. It's the choices of the individual behind the wheel that create the risk. And human behavior is incredibly hard to change. We are not wired as a species to change our behavior. Especially the older we get. And so anybody on the call, if you've had a gym membership or a weight loss program or a New Year's resolution, we don't tend to stick to them. And this data shows you that 2 out of 10 people who make a New Year's resolution quit by the second Friday of January. It's really hard. And then compounding that, people are generally overconfident in our own abilities. And so if we had a poll, I'd say, who on this call thinks that you are a good driver? I would say I feel like I'm a good driver. The data shows us something different when we look at safety. And so our own cognitive difference there creates a challenge, because people may not feel that they even need to change at all. So that's where this joint venture came from. Geotab said, this is not a problem that we can solve on our own. We need a partner who can help us with this, that's a global expert in human behavior. I won't tell you about Geotab. You guys already know who they are, but real experts in collision and commercial fleet. Vitality, you may not know, they've been around for 25 years. They're a global company. They have 41 million customers around the world, and their entire business is helping those customers to make better decisions every day. They got started in South Africa in health insurance, and they made a decision early on that they were going to try to help their customers be healthier, and that was where Vitality was born. Customers loved it. They were happier, healthier, and the cost of claims went down dramatically. So as discovery grew around the world, they have gone into health insurance, life insurance, personal lines, driving insurance, wealth management, and banking. All of this is underpinned by the Vitality award-winning behavior change program and technology. Just to give you a bit more background on Vitality, they are experts in this. I've been to their office in Johannesburg, South Africa, and it's full of actuarial scientists and behavioral scientists who are constantly thinking about and analyzing the data to understand how best to help people to do better. So we've spent the last 2 years putting the pieces together. Geotab's understanding of commercial fleets and all of the nuance between different types of fleets and collision risk. And we bolted that on and augmented Vitality's existing behavior change technology that they use in their personal lines consumer driving insurance to help make drivers safer on the road. So we've built a product that enables commercial fleet drivers to do that as well. Some quick proof points. So we've been live in the market since Geotab Connect in February. We have quite a few pilots going on with customers right now in Canada, the US, and Europe. One of those customers, Closure Transport, we saw a 15% improvement in their predictive collision risk in just 2 months. And we saw twice as much improvement versus the other group. We did a blind study, and the other group who tried to change behavior using traditional means, we saw twice as much improvement from the group that used our application. Now, February, it's not been very long since then, but Vitality Drive and that technology has been around since 2011. And what they've experienced in their insurance business is a 50% reduction in collision claims. So that's our North Star. That's what we're headed towards over the course of time. And when you see me back on the road ahead, I hope to update you on other pilots that we've been doing and the success that we've seen with them. So what is it? It's an application, a mobile app that sits on the driver's phone. Today, it is a standalone application. We are integrating it with Geotab Drive. We expect that to be done towards the end of August. And the way that it works is every week we give drivers a goal. So in this case, you can see 550. So that's the goal that we want drivers to hit this week. We measure their safe driving using everything that you see in the safety center today: speeding, acceleration, braking, cornering, etc. And drivers can get up to 100 points per day. And then just like your Apple Watch or your Fitbit, you see the ring close through the week. And if drivers achieve their goal, they get credits, which go into their digital wallet, and they can spend them right in our rewards mall in the app. So we're asking drivers to do something, which is be safe, drive safely. And that act of rewarding them when they do that starts to change their behavior, and it makes it habitual over time. Two quick things on this. So all of the scoring is fully aligned with Geotab's predictive collision risk algorithm. So you get the benefit of all of the clustering and AI benchmarking that they use, which means we're comparing drivers apples to apples. So if I'm a driver, we're comparing Steve to all other drivers in Geotab's network of 4.8 million vehicles or 8 million drivers who look and drive like me based on my vehicle type, based on my driving style, and based on my area risk. The second thing is that the scores and the goals are personalized to the driver. So when a driver starts the program, we're just asking them to do a few small things to improve, and we reward them for that. As they improve, we stretch them, and we use behavioral science to help them strive to be better. And we also increase the amount of reward they can get. So drivers can achieve up to $10 a week in rewards, which means $520 per year in rewards that they can take home for consistently driving safely. Here are some of the screenshots. You'll get a good sense of the app when you get this presentation. There's a lot of behavioral science baked into this. So think gamification, feedback loops, nudges, incentives, right? This isn't our industry's version of coaching. This is very modern style. It's behind the scenes, and it's helping the drivers proactively improve as they engage with the app to understand how they're doing week over week on all the different behaviors, and they can reward themselves, like I said, right in the app. For drivers, it's very simple, right? It's as long as they drive well, they get rewarded. So it's a simple message for you to communicate to your drivers, and they love it. We get a lot of feedback from drivers that they like to feel valued for the work that they're doing. Instead of 2 months later, having a fleet manager reach out and say, "Hey, what are all these events that I see here?" Right? It's a constant engagement with the app, and then being rewarded for all their hard work. We offer drivers a status every 3 months. They can be awarded between bronze and platinum. For you, this is a very simplified view of the predictive collision risk. For your drivers, it's competition and bragging rights. And some of our customers actually do additional rewards with the status. Every 6 months, I give my platinum drivers a Yeti cooler, for example. Here are some of the rewards partners. And so we have 160 in the network. They are all localized around the world. So different rewards in Canada versus the US versus Spain versus Latin America, Australia, etc. And so what this means is your drivers can give themselves things that they like and that matter to them. Everything from Amazon to Walmart to Home Depot, Ticketmaster, you name it, it's in there. So it's a very exciting, comprehensive program for you. It's entirely out of the box. You don't have anything to manage, right? We've aligned the whole system to reducing collision risk. All the data science is in there to do that. So you don't have to manage, what events do I want to focus on this week, and how do I communicate that to my drivers, and spreadsheets, and buying rewards, and divvying them out, and explaining to a driver why they didn't get something. All that goes away and gets baked into this app. From an ROI perspective, the bulk of the ROI comes from two things. It's collision reduction, and it's also driver retention and morale, which we hear about a lot lately from customers. You do see ancillary benefits in maintenance, right? Drivers aren't beating up the vehicle as much. Fuel economy, drivers aren't speeding and accelerating so hard, for example. And our data science tells us that if you can get your fleet from bronze to platinum, that risk reduction is almost 50%. So that's what we're striving towards, and all of our product roadmap is baked around that, as well as expanding to other behaviors that drivers have that you care about. So from a flywheel perspective, this app helps you to attract and retain better drivers. You'll see a reduction in collision risk and cost and downtime. And giving those incentives back to your drivers helps them to feel valued for the work. And it's a nice cyclical program there. Very quick, last thing I'll show you is we are live in Order Now in the Geotab marketplace. So it's very easy to get access to the product. It's very low lift. It's very simple to turn on. So you can install our add-in, so you get access to it right from Order Now. You then can install the add-in. You can manage your drivers directly from there. You can add them individually to enroll them in the program, or you can do it in bulk. As soon as you've enrolled a driver, they will get an email with links to download the app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. They enter a one-time password, and then they just drive well and get rewarded. So it's very simple from that perspective. We do have a full customer success team that's here to support you. So it's very easy to get started, and we do offer free trials. So if you're interested to learn more, please reach out to me. My calendar link should be in the chat, and also please talk to your reseller as well. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for all that information on Vitality. It seems like it'd be a really cool tool, make driving almost fun, to see if you can get more rewards. I did have a few questions that we'll go over. I'm likely not going to be able to get to all these questions. We do have a lot of questions in here, but we'll follow up with answers to all of them after the event early next week. So we had a few questions around, is there an additional cost associated, I assume so, with getting Vitality?
There is, and so that's something to talk to your reseller about. There's also an MSRP listed in the Order Now product page, so you can get some insight as to what the cost looks like there. There's a fee for the technology, the platform, and the ongoing improvements, maintenance, support, and then there's an additional fee for the rewards. That all gets baked into one simple price per driver per month to make sure there's no variability for you.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And people are wondering about the rollout for other regions such as South America, Caribbean areas.
Yes, and it's a question I get asked a lot, and I wish we could be everywhere today. We are working on rolling out to all areas that Geotab is live in. We do have some demand from Mexico, and so we're expecting to get there before the end of the year. I think that'll be a great stepping off point for us for the rest of Latin America. We're targeting Africa for early next year. There's demand from the Middle East. So I will put some thought to that and try to put some details to it, which we can send out in the questions later.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, we had a few questions around things like the customization of different things like some companies, they have their own, rules, like their own custom rules they want their drivers to follow, and those are the kind of the standards they want to set for them, or they want to be able to add in things like, doing your DVR every day on time type of
Yeah.
things. Is there any,
Yes.
thoughts on that you can share?
Yeah. So I'll take that as kind of a two-part question. So on the front end, the customization, I would say we don't have that from a safety perspective. So the Geotab team has used all of their data science. It's the largest commercial telematics data set in the world to really pinpoint all of the behaviors and nuance of different types of vehicles, area risk, driving styles that indicate collision risk. So we are very much focused on that. And so we don't allow you to change the rules or the weightings, because that will actually get you further away from the outcome that you want, which is lower collision risk. Now, we are actively working on adding additional behaviors in. Idling is something we're targeting for the end of this year, so that will reduce fuel cost. We are looking at driver or in-vehicle inspections, look at review of logs. We have a whole list of behaviors that we're looking at. So we can incentivize your drivers to change any type of behavior that you care about. We also, sorry for the long answer, actually, but we also are looking at adding in behaviors that different customers care about. We have a customer in Spain who is a ride-hailing company. They work for Uber, and they want to incentivize their drivers based on having that app open. So we're actively creating a component in our system that will allow for custom behaviors. So we don't allow you to change the weightings, but if there is something that you care about, let's talk, and we can look at adding it in. The second part of the question, I now can't remember, but I had a good answer for it.
I think you answered all. I think that was,
Okay.
that was good. I think that's, that's exactly what people were looking for. Because I think there's a lot of behaviors that, they want to encourage that this would be really helpful for. All right. So as far as the usage of this app, is this something that is it like your Apple Watch, where, like, say you're in the middle of a run and it's getting updated in real time, telling you exactly what's going on? Is this, what are the, times when they're going to be looking at this app? Is it like a recap at the end of the day type of a thing?
Yeah. So today we analyze the data once a day. So every day you get an update of what yesterday looked like. We do want to get to that real-time feedback, because from a behavioral science perspective, feedback is best served hot, right when it happened. And so we want to get to that. So we're continually going to be improving and moving towards, that the ability to push to a driver and say, hey, we just saw this trip happen. Here's how you did.
Awesome. That will be really cool to see all the different, the ways this develops over time as people continue using it. All right, I'll do one more question here. So, as far as government databases, government agencies, if you can talk to that.
Yes. Can they use the program? The answer is yes, you can. And if you are a government customer, happy to talk to you about some of the different nuances of whether or not you are able to give rewards, things like that. Just reach out to me, and we can have a meeting, and I can talk you through how we manage that.
All right. I think we'll follow up with the rest of the questions. Thank you for your time today, Steve. Thanks for all the information you shared. This is a really cool program that I think is getting people excited to use. So thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you. No, I'm thrilled to.
All right. And let's move on to our work order management system. I'm sure there's lots of questions here. Thanks for being here, Ricky. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks so much. And Steve, looking forward to testing on my own vehicle, my own driving Vitality. So really excited for that. But yeah, so just to be able to introduce myself, I'm the lead product manager behind the work order management product at Maintenance, and wanted to give a big update on how many things that we've been working on, what's kind of a little bit of the roadmap for the rest of the year look like overall for you, and kind of show you a little bit of a preview of some of the things that we fixed. So we'll we'll get right into it. So here's the big thing. The work order management product has been available to everyone since the end of January. So we're looking at almost 6 months of having this open beta available, and we've learned a lot. And I want to thank everyone who's been involved in this and reaching out to me, working with our teams, giving us feedback. Feedback really drives innovation here. So we definitely want to just start with that. And with that, we're at a point where the work order management product is no longer really a beta. It is a working product. It is a product of customers being able to give us plenty of input and so on. So as a result of that, we are looking for the future here in early August to remove the actual beta tag from it. And also that means that we are going to stop supporting the previous legacy system. So for anyone using the upcoming maintenance, the reminders, or the record systems, we're going to stop supporting it. All that means to you truly is that we're not offering any more new functionality, no more bug fixes or security improvements on that anymore. And the reason why is we have to move forward and we have to start working and building on the brand new system. Now, we are not going to be forcefully migrating anyone into the system, even once this beta tag kind of drops off. But what we're going to try to look at doing is piece by piece, manually migrating some customers at a time. The customers that perhaps haven't used the reminder system in more than 2 months, for instance, we're going to be looking at what does that total group look like and working on communicating that, hey, we're going to work towards migrating you over to the new system, right? That kind of thing. And then working with large fleets as well as other fleets that are very much active in the old reminder system, trying to see what other things remain as far as feedback goes to be able to get them over the line to migrate to the new system as well. But guaranteed, by the end of this year, we will be moving all customers over to the new system. So that just means for you to go ahead and jump in, go ahead and take a look at migrating over your system. It is a one-way track when you do click that migrate button on any of the old pages. Down at the bottom, you are not alone as far as getting training or getting help. There's a full product guide written up on it. There's a learning center training that in under 20 minutes, you can understand all the new concepts around the work order management as well. And in-app, while you're logged in, you can always go and check out our support walkthroughs. It literally steps you through every page and what every kind of button means and so on. So just so you know. Now, with that, we wanted to be able to provide to you some of the kind of updates and features that we've worked on over the past couple of months. So all of these have been based on feedback. And I'm going to go one by one, kind of sharing you some screen grabs of what we've worked on, but we've done a lot. There's actually more outside of these, but these have been by far the biggest things that customers have asking for. So that's why we wanted to review it today. Number one is that customers, when we launched this, we added a lot of new fields and we made some of them actually required. I want to make sure everyone knows that there's no longer any required fields in completing a work order. All you have to do is open an order and change the status to complete, and that's it. You don't even have to put any documents, any costs, or anything like that, because we'll put the date of completion to today's date for you. We'll set the odometer and engine hours to today's odo and engine hours if we have that available as well. On that note, to the right here, the next one is if you do change the date of completion to something prior because perhaps you have the receipt now, the work was completed a week ago and now you're logging the record today or logging the work order today, we are going to go ahead and update the odometer automatically for you. So you can kind of see that this is a higher odometer because it's based on today's date, but if you change it to the first, it actually brought it back by about 700 miles in this instance, okay? So by changing that date of completion, we are doing that automatically for you, so you don't have to remember those kind of things. The next big one is on the requests and the orders page, a very quick filter, one button filter to just be able to understand what are the things that are overdue here and what are the things that are open on my orders page. So you click on those and the actual data will quickly filter out for you. Future dating work orders, we understand that some customers are going to log today their work order as completed, but they want to be able to actually say that the work is going to be done in about a week or two. So they're kind of doing the record ahead of time, getting ahead of their documentation, that kind of thing. So we are allowing back on that due on date and the date completed to be able to log the date ahead of time past today's date. Then allow editing of complete work orders and work jobs. For all the reasons above that maybe you have your actual work being done some time ago, maybe you want to update a very old record, an old work order, and so on. You want to put in more details. You finally have the receipt in hand, so that work order that you submitted 2 weeks ago that you didn't have the actual receipt in hand, you want to put that into the actual work order so it's digitally backed up, right? We are allowing your ability to edit any field on the work order except for the status field. Because remember, once the status is submitted as completed or canceled, it cannot be lifted or changed. Then for legacy reports, we understand some of our legacy customers that relied on the reminders report. They actually use the upcoming maintenance report, those kind of things. When we migrated them over, that report stopped working. And that's because it wasn't pointing to that report anymore. It was pointing towards our brand new reports. That's no longer happening. So if you do have a report set up, maybe an email set up for reminders being sent out to you or anything like that, it's going to continue working after migration, those actual Excel reports that you may be being emailed or maybe being pulled. However, we are going to encourage you taking a look at the brand new work order, brand new work job, and brand new work request reports that are replacing essentially these reports as well. From there, quick complete buttons on the requests and orders edit page. At the top here, this is done and developed. Hey, I don't want to look at anything on this page. I really just want to click complete and have this work order be done and reset my schedule. Right, I want to just reset that schedule that I've done for that oil change, that tire rotation very quickly. I don't need to log anything but capture the date and who did it. So with that said, we do have this complete button now available on the orders button, on the orders page, excuse me, but in development right now. And sorry for the image here, but essentially you're going to be able to go on your request tab and click these 3 dots and hit quick work order. And what that will allow you to do is just quickly complete it out. It'll log your name, log today's date, and you'll be done. You'll stay on the same exact page, and you can keep going through and completing out any other remaining requests that are showing up here, any other scheduled items, that kind of thing. From there, we have adding the ability to add additional jobs to completed work orders. A major improvement to the maintenance system was the fact that we wanted to allow you the ability to add more things to one order itself, because it was a one-to-one system previously. Now it's a one-to-many. You can complete an oil change, a tire rotation, any kind of issues all at the same time in the same exact order. So what about if you want to go backwards in your history and now say, hey, in this order, I actually did replace my windshield wiper. I did actually do a full PM schedule, and I want it synced on that old order. So you can go back, you can actually add those in. We are going to warn you though and let you know that we're going to go ahead and mark it as complete because you've marked the entire order as complete previously. So we're going to auto mark that for you. But again, you can change the information in it from the cost, the data, put in new documentation, so on. And another thing that is right now in development, and developers are working on right now, essentially is new sortable fields. There are a couple of sortable fields on all of the requests, orders, and jobs pages, but we wanted to make it a bit like how maybe Excel functions, in that almost any kind of column can actually be sorted out. So perhaps I don't want to just use severity. I want to actually use my current odometer or my due on date or the service due in miles or service due in kilometers, and actually sort by that actual amount, but then filter by severity or filter by the actual maintenance type name itself. So just new ways of slicing up your data to stay inside the UI, not having to download anything for it. So with that said, that's some of the biggest actual updates that are live right now. And in the last one here, we're working on it. Other things that we are kind of moving forward on is looking at what the next year actually holds for us. We are working on the ability to have faults and vehicle inspection, or DVIRs, being able to be connected to our work request system. We're working on what does that look like. We're doing a lot of customer interviews and trying to understand what do you want that to look like as well. So just know that it's likely not going to be anytime this year, but more towards next year that we start building that out. And then I do want to make sure as a reminder that everyone knows that our backend APIs, for those who are using our SDK and maybe you have a third-party platform that they're bringing data into the system or they want to, that's fully available right now. So that documentation, it is a Google Doc right now. It has draft on it. But if you do want to investigate that and see how you can connect or share kind of work orders back and forth, definitely want to hear from you. At the end of this, I'll definitely share my calendar so you can book some time together. And I want to understand that connection that you are making, that you're using there, whether it is that you are bringing work orders into Geotab, you're sending work orders out of Geotab, you're maybe generating work requests into Geotab, or again, outside of Geotab, pulling out what we've generated back to your system that you may be working with. So just as a reminder there of what this looks like for the future of the work order management platform as a whole. With that said, that's everything I have. So I wanted to definitely take time here to talk about any open questions.
Awesome. Thanks for that update. Thanks for all your hard work you've been doing to make this a great solution for everybody. So we did have a good amount of questions here. So I know you just talked about the SDK thing. So like, do existing API calls that are reaching reminder rules, are those going to stop working? Are there new ways that they should be doing things, or do you want to maybe follow up with that later?
That's a good one to follow up on. Essentially, we didn't try to remove anything out of our SDK at all. Essentially, we built wholly new code, right? And that was on purpose, the old reminder system. So I definitely want to maybe talk to that person on how did they use it before, because we really didn't have much available at all in our old reminder system. So, but yeah, we built new. We didn't delete anything, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, maybe Cesar, you can connect with Ricky on this and talk about more what your side of things looks like. Awesome. All right, so somebody brought up that when entering in work order maintenance cost, they can't enter cents after the dollars. Is that a by design, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, kind of. We round up the dollar and so on. Yeah, that is a known kind of thing that we're working on as well. We want to be able to actually increase it so you can be very minute in detail, as well as including taxes as well, like how you actually have taxes maybe being subdivided by individual jobs. So this one actually would be good. Like individual job has their own tax entry, that kind of thing. But yeah, those are kind of iterations that we're going to be working on. Those just weren't the top main ones that we really kind of brought forward and fixed early. So yeah, so look
Awesome,
out for
thanks.
little updates.
Yeah. All right. And kind of in that sort of, thought process, Joe is asking, so will this allow us to put every single maintenance ticket in a Geotab, then be able to get a maintenance report that will show me the yearly maintenance expenses of a vehicle?
Yeah. So one thing that you can do is we do have a bulk import tool available. So you can take all the data that you do have, bulk import that data in. It's an Excel spreadsheet that you can import in. And then once that data is available, yes, you can absolutely download either a jobs report or an orders report. A jobs report is going to be more focused on the individual, hey, I did this many oil changes this year. I did this many tire rotations. The orders is going to be more worried about your total maintenance cost as a whole and the total amount of maintenance work that's being done, right? The downtime, for instance, when did an order start, when did it end? So yes, both of those would be available so long as good data in, right? You're able to get good data out, right? So being able to actually say, hey, it started this day at this location with this person, those kind of things. That's where back on the required fields as well. Right here. That's where, if you use more of those fields, you'll be able to get more data out of that and be able to do some pivot tables or have it show on your dashboard as well. And the future of maintenance is where we are going to create more of a overview type of page where you would have all of this in the UI already to tell you, hey, this particular group that I've selected has the highest maintenance cost, or this particular group has the highest amount of vehicle downtime. Why is that? Maybe we have to dig into that. Why is this mechanic taking so long to do our tire rotations, our tire replacements, and the list goes on. So.
Okay, and this might be a hard one, but I was wondering if if things like this, do you know if you can ask ACE some of these questions about like maintenance costs? Do you know that?
It's a great question. Yeah, there are some things that do work. So, hey, I need to know the total amount of, total cost of work orders that I've submitted. That kind of question does exist in ACE, but there's going to be a lot more that we're going to be adding to it as well. So that way you can, ask away there and, generate any results that you're kind of looking for. So look to the future here. We're going to be expanding more of the ACE questions that are like sample questions to be able to create.
Awesome. All right, that's yeah, definitely. I think people are looking forward to that. ACE is a really cool tool
Yeah.
to use for things like that. All right, so let's see. Um, So some of these, maybe we'll follow up with some of these. I see some API and different integration questions. We'll follow
Sure.
up with some of those answers. They may be a little bit lengthier. But so I don't know if this is fully going to make sense, but I'll ask this question from Derek. Will we be able to create jobs from non-inspected base criteria or from sources not originated from an inspection?
Not originated from an inspection. So essentially with our API, you can actually call the actual asset itself and add these work requests in, or even the whole work order itself. So it really doesn't matter so much where it comes from. It does matter though that the asset itself does exist on the database itself. So if you're using a trailer or perhaps a powered asset, right, like a light fixture or something like that, it does have to be in the system for you to say reference this actual work order, this actual asset and add a work order for it. Right. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. It doesn't matter necessarily the source. It just matters that you're using our API runner or our API itself to be able to actually set and modify that kind of information or add that kind of new information as far as a new work order.
All right. That's a good answer. I think hopefully that answered your question, Derek, but feel free to follow up with us in the community. And we'll be able to definitely address that. All right, I'll get one more. We do have some minutes left here, so I'll try to get another one here.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one. So somebody asked if you could explain how they could add an annual safety inspection notification, or if we could see a dashboard where we can see upcoming due annual safety inspections in like the next 30 or 60 days. Is there a way to do something like this in here?
So there might be a way to do it. Essentially, what you're looking at is called a scheduled maintenance, and you could say this many assets have a 90-day inspection. You can set it up to be every 90 days that you have to do it. And then on let's see if I have a quick photo for us, on the actual request page itself, you would see it as it's a scheduled item. It is every 90 days, and it'll say how much you're overdue by or how much you're about to be there. 10 days away, it's due in 10 days, that kind of thing. So with that, then you can actually select it, create a work order, and go ahead and perform that inspection. We've also seen it the other way about where they have a regular reoccurring PM schedule that's perhaps every month or so it's very frequent, but they can add on using our defect lists to actually create as many kind of inspections as they want. For those unaware, the DVIR defect list, the actual list itself can actually be created into the request page itself. You hit plus work request, and the first question you're asked is what asset, and the second question is what's the defect that you'd like to report that you're going to repair. So with that said, you can thus actually have it say like, hey, we did a PM, but we're going to add to this PM that we did this particular inspection. And all it was is in that defect list, you named it that particular thing. You named it that annual inspection 90-day or whatever it would be. So a little complicated, but that's what that is. And then the future of this that I talked about is essentially the automation behind a driver reporting a defect that is different. That is a separate kind of thing that we're trying to work for next year. So just to make sure for any confusion.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all the information, Ricky. Thanks for working hard on this. And we'll see you next time on the road ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie.
Thanks. Well, thank you everybody who stayed all the way to the end. You guys are awesome. I hope you learned a lot today. I know I sure did. We will follow up with answers to all the questions that we didn't get an opportunity to answer today. I know there were lots of them, but look out for the follow-up email where we'll link a post in the community where we're going to be answering all those questions. So keep your eyes open for that. We should have those answers, next week for you. So and feel free to ask any questions in the community when they come up. We'll see you next month on the road ahead, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.